got me stranded like a branch in the wind. Tell me what you long for. Oh, I won't watch you.
WildChild is now positioned on the edge of the Bahama bank. We're ready to make our Gulf Stream crossing at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go to Florida. 10 days ago, this was the same crossing that confounded the evil monkey and left him washed up on the beach, wrecking his boat. He couldn't do it, but let's see if the girls can do it. Sunset on the Little Bahama bank. While Captain Lexi preps the boat for tomorrow morning's sail, we can't find our American flag. That's kind of a bummer. We're on the edge of the bank now and we're rolling sideways to the waves. Elena gets to be the galley slave tonight and she's cooking dinner because she's very sweet and she's very nice and she doesn't even complain. And she's doing really good too because the boat's rolling sideways, so this is probably the roughest anchorage she's been in, and she's handling it really well. You know, as we're sitting watching TV or hanging out in the boat or Lexi sleeping in her bed, we can always, all night long, just sort of look up and check on the position of the boat to know the safety of the boat. Like, are we safe? That says yes, we are safe. Are we dragging? That says no, we are not dragging. So it really gives you peace of mind when you're at anchor. Hi, Coda Bear. I don't know if you remember when I was in the hospital a long time ago. You made me a get well card and you bought me a teddy bear. And I still have that teddy bear that you gave me. And he watches over me while I sleep and reminds me of you. Alright, Lexi's getting pissed off. So for whatever freaking reason, the wind and the current and the waves are fighting and we're beginning to circle over our anchor. So this is where our anchor is and we've kind of drifted around every way over top of our anchor. But the wind is on that side of the boat and so are the waves. So why the hell, and the current is that way, so why the hell are we sailing, like the boat in the water, the fins in the water are sailing it into the anchor when the wind is that way and the current is that way and we were sailing that way. It just doesn't make sense. The boat wants to present its ass end to the wind and I can't seem to fix it. Grr, Lexi mad. Lexi very frustrated. It is not safe to swirl around your anchor. It will come loose. You'll wrap it around your keel like you'll make a mess. Our anchor chain is now under the boat and our anchor is somewhere behind us. And the boat wants to do this and I can't stop it. I can't even use the engine to position it so I can throw a stern anchor. I can't stop it from swirling around. I have no control. Lexi says, grrr. This is very frustrating. It is not safe. You cannot swirl around your anchor. You cannot be over top of your anchor. You can't pull your anchor underneath from your bow to your stern because it'll hit your keel and you'll wrap around the keel. And I can't stop it. The boat's just doing whatever it wants to do and I can't prevent it. I can't fix it and I don't know what to do about it. This is very frustrating. You have to realize that when you're anchored on the edge of the Bahama bank, you're anchored at the top of a 3,000-foot cliff. The currents are very strong as all of that water's forced by the tide up and over the edge of the bank. The currents on the edge can be very strong. I eventually figure out the physics of what's going wrong. WildChild's big, enormous, perfectly shaped wing keel is sailing against the strong currents, completely overriding what the winds are doing. I know what's happening. I just can't figure out what to do about it. Essentially, I spend about an hour trying to heave to with the rudder. If if I can offset the rudder angle to the keel, maybe I can just get the boat to hover stationary in the current. But no matter which way I turn it or what angle I hold the rudder at, WildChild is still sailing upstream. So, I don't know if I showed you the earlier video, but our anchorage suddenly became a horrible one. And for whatever reason that I totally don't understand, with current coming from that direction and wind and waves on the side, WildChild swam herself over her anchor. So the current is this way, the wind and waves are this way, and for whatever freaking reason, she wanted to swim upstream over her anchor. Her anchor's over here. And we eventually had the anchor chain underneath the boat behind us. And you cannot let your boat swirl over your anchor. This is horrible. So what we did is I got it in reverse and we pulled off in reverse. So at least we're pulling with the chain in front, and we pulled on it. And then you guys have seen before, WildChild has a little 16-pound Bruce Sentinel anchor, and we use it as our stern anchor. And I realize you can't really see much, can you? Oh, it's kind of dark. But I was considering setting a riding sail, or perhaps using the drogue anchor to pull back and resist the current. But I decided against it because when the current shifts, the drogue anchor would get underneath the boat. And then it's hanging off the back. So now we have the day hook, or the stern anchor is kind of grabbed here. So at least we keep our main anchor and chain in front of us. We got a little Bruce stern anchor over here, stopping WildChild for whatever reason from swimming upstream against her anchor. So, I mean, it's a little 16-pound Bruce, it's not strong, and we're in soft sand, so it's really not going to hold a lot of force. But if you look, so this is boat speed by the paddle wheel underneath, and it's like 0.3, 0.4 with current against us. And WildChild wants to swim against the current. So what was kind of a good anchorage became a rolly anchorage, became a dangerous anchorage when the tidal current shifted. Are we okay now? I'm not sure. This might be a really iffy night for us, but so far it's working. Like that, you know, that stern anchor is holding. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't shut the helm off. And we had such a good sailing day, and this is a terrible, terrible anchorage. Well, it's 4 a.m. It's Tuesday morning, and it's time for our crossing. And if you all remember the trouble we had anchoring last night, it looks like after all the stern anchor did wonderful. So without the stern anchor, we were sailing all over our anchor. We threw the stern anchor over here, and sure, it dragged, but it kept us away from the main anchor. As the current shifted around, we moved 180 degrees around the main anchor, but it kept us in an arc and kept us from overshooting the main anchor. It kept WildChild from swimming upstream. The stern anchor worked really well for us last night.